Does the business model of daily fantasy sports operators violate federal law? That's the question being investigated by the Justice Department and the FBI. Federal agents are questioning DraftKings customers about their experiences with the Boston-based company. The probe, which is in its preliminary stages, is part of an ongoing discussion about the legality of daily fantasy sites. In 2006, Congress prohibited financial companies from transferring money to online gambling websites. Daily fantasy sports sites like DraftKings and FanDuel operate under an exemption for so-called games of skill allowed by Congress. The Justice Department is trying to determine whether daily fantasy games are a form of gambling that falls outside the exemption. In daily fantasy sites, customers pay entry fees to virtual sports teams that compete against each other for prize money based on real-world athlete performance. And the fantasy sports industry is booming. Hundreds of millions of dollars in venture capital and player money are flowing into the business. Sports leagues, tech, and major media companies are among big investors. Daily fantasy came under scrutiny after a DraftKings employee admitted in early October that he had prematurely released sensitive data about the site's biggest contest on a fantasy sports message board and won $350,000 on FanDuel in the same week. DraftKings said the leak was an accident, and both companies have said the employee did not benefit from having early access to the data. FanDuel has hired outside investigators to conduct an internal review and make recommendations to strengthen controls on sensitive information. DraftKings has hired an investigator to look into unspecified allegations against an employee. Meantime, government attorneys have asked both companies to provide internal data, including the win-loss records of players. Algorithms have determined the fantasy pricing for athletes and details on their policies to prevent fraud.